everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are continuing on with our readings surrounding the shooting deaths of CARNELL SLEDGE and Katherine Brown. And their tragic story has been featured on the latest installment of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. It's, I think it's what they call Volume 5, the first episode. So check that out. I also recorded some readings, an opening oracle reading, parts 1 and 2, and then part 3 is the first part of the tarot reading. I've covered 6 questions in that one, and I plan to cover 6 questions in this reading. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our reading. Okay. Was someone hired or commissioned to carry out the shooting? Question number 1. 5 of Cups. Death. Okay, so I got the 5 of Cups, which is a no card. The Death card is also a no card, which surprises me because in part 1's opening oracle reading, we got 2 cards. One that said hired help, but that doesn't necessarily mean a murder for hire or, But we also got aiding and abetting. We got murder for hire. So I just assumed that because the person who ultimately is responsible may have a solid alibi, or maybe not super solid, but just an alibi, that someone else did this on their behalf, did this for them. That's what I was feeling too. But these cards are no cards. They're telling me that the person who was invested in making this happen made it happen. Not necessarily hiring someone else. They could have hired someone to help cover up after the crime, but somehow, some way, they made it happen where they were the ones that did this shooting. Interesting. This is what I take from it. I'm going to pull some oracle. Well, first from the New Era Elements Tarot deck. Someone commissioned. What can you tell us? Hanged Man. Hanged Man. Vindication. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like police maybe need to double check someone's alibi. We'll talk about that in a moment, because I am going to ask a question about alibis as it relates to this case. Okay, nothing else coming up here, but we have here the Hanged Man. Someone felt like they were left hanging, left in suspension surrounding Katherine. Okay, I'm sensing this is the connecting dot here between the perp and the 2 victims is through a connection with Katherine. Now, some people were like, well, Carnell was shot twice and Kate was shot once, so the extra bullet must mean something. I don't necessarily feel it means anything other than he was shot twice. Oh, yeah, it's really sad. This person was hanging around. Maybe before, like, somehow they knew. Somehow they had a perspective on her going to this park to meet up with Carnell. I don't even know if it was so much that this person, the perp, knew that she was meeting specifically with Carnell, but knowing that that was someone that she was close friends with, maybe this person made false accusations towards Carnell about Kate, that when they saw them both together, it was a problem, and Carnell lost his life for it. That's what I'm picking up on here. This person felt vindicated. And I also wonder if this person maybe hung back. I thought they made a mad dash to get up out of there. Maybe they did, but there's some element of hanging around, seeing the scene unfold. I don't know. And also hanging around or feeling like they were always hanging around or hanging on and being left to hang on, and vindicated by making this happen. Vindicated. Vindication is the key word. So I have to say this. These cards say no. That the person who had an axe to grind with Katherine and I guess Carnell by just being there is the person who did the shooting, allegedly. Okay, I'm going to pause here so I can move these cards to the side. Okay, so the next question number 8. Has the perp or perps been interviewed? Has the perp or perps been interviewed by police? Yes. So yes, the perps have been interviewed. I'm going to use my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. And mental jail. Yeah, the police have already interviewed the perp. This is a strong yes card with the 6 of Pentacles. Mental jail and collapse and ruin. Could be about the perp feeling like back when this all was about to happen and then happened, and when they were interviewed, they came across, it was palpable that you could tell they were in a mental jail surrounding what happened, but they have a good story here that they gave to police. Collapse or ruin. This may be something only that is known to people close to the case. And I say that because it could be about someone who was at the time of the crime near collapse or ruin in their life, or subsequent years later, 6 years later, 6 of Pentacles representing the timing of 6 years, they will be at some point of collapse or ruin. Like there's only so much they can take. Or this could be like, you see how there's 2 people here, we'll say law enforcement, being interviewed, but one person has been in a mental jail about it. This is about accessory after the fact energy, or someone helping to cover up or knows about some aspects or elements of the crime, or even had a part in covering it up and not being able to tolerate carrying the weight much longer. So there has been a couple of key people as it relates to the actual shooting and crime that has been interviewed already by police. Okay, so we'll go with that. Now there's another part to this question. So what's up with their alibis? Are they credible? These alibis. Do they need to be looked at again? The police need to really look closer at this at the alibis provided. Sorry, you all. Trying to get my questions back up on the screen. Alibi information concealed or hidden. Somebody has done a good job of concealing their whereabouts or knocking off law enforcement off course. But a higher agency needs to get involved, and you know, it could be FBI or actively involved in really trying to look back at the alibis here. This is like, some people would probably interpret this to a fire as an airtight alibi. I don't know if it's airtight. I just think that they haven't been able to have, police can't just, you know, ignore that someone is saying, yes, this person was at the barber shop. Yes, there's surveillance cameras, you know, showing them on the path to the establishment, and then a witness or two saying they're in the barber shop. There feels to me like an element of where this may be where someone was bought, bought this perp time, bought the perp time. I was here doing the crime, but I paid so-and-so to say I was here, or I was late to this, something I'm supposed to do over here because I'm over here doing this crime, but I somehow convinced the person to bump up the time because I was just around the corner. I wasn't very far. There's some element that of the alibi that it's concealed and needs to come out. That's what I'm getting a sense of here with these two cards. Yeah. Something, the alibi to me, I think needs to be checked out. Okay. My mic had cut out for a moment, so I wanted to make sure I captured this part. But the alibi needs to be checked out. There could be a sense of someone being paid or being coerced or told to hide a particular time. Like if they're saying, okay, I was over here at this time. I was, you know, over here doing XYZ activity. But really they have paid so-and-so over here who could vouch for them to be there, or just simply say, oh, I was in the parking lot. Or, oh, I was a little delayed, but I was on my way here. They have someone's support to cover that up, to conceal the actual time that the person actually arrived somewhere. There's some element that is being covered up or concealed related to the alibi, and police, a higher agency, the Hierophant to me tells me a higher agency needs to get involved and help to apply some pressure here. Apply some pressure, because there's some aspect of the alibi that is quite shaky. It's not as airtight as it looks at face value with this Two of Wands and then the Four of Swords. Like someone, it feels like, has concocted a plan to time it just so that they could be at another location, have a witness to confirm their arrival or being there. The witness maybe not being sure exactly when the perp got there, but knowing that, you know, they were at the particular location that the perp is saying they were at. They were there, but they don't know exactly when the perp got there. So there's something a little shaky about it. And it's, to me, it feels like it's this person who could help really unlock the case. The person that knows this information that's helping to conceal it for the perp. This is all alleged, of course, but this is what I'm picking up on here. What is the motive here? What we're going to do is we're going to pull a card for each of them. So for Katherine, what was the motive? Wow. The moon. For Carnell, what was the motive? Seven of Earth. It says the keyword failure. Interesting. I'll pull from this one. For Kate. Any additional insight, Spirit, on the motive? We've got dating. Aiding and abetting. Look at that. What about for Carnell? Okay. Follow me along here as I take you through the interpretation. So we have the moon. When I first saw this card, I thought about lunacy, someone being driven to lunacy surrounding her, something like mysterious dark emotions that are coming to the surface surrounding the perp and Kate. They once saw her as this beautiful white flower, and and now everything is dark, and this was the last sense of control. This person at some point dated her, or is close to her because of some sort of dating relationship. Aiding and abetting. And then we have Seven of Earth, Seven of Pentacles. You see the bottle. I suppose that Carnell could have, like, the perp assessed this as a threat, not just a threat for like the day of the shooting, but a threat in the past, over the past years, of knowing Kate, of knowing her connection to Carnell, and assessing this person as a threat that also needed to go. It was going to witness the brutal ending for Kate, and therefore he had to go too. And there's a sense of failure, like, oh, you feel like you can go and confide in him, but you can't do the same with me. Assessing the situation, assessing the threat. We have a weapon here potentially in the hands, this broken glass. So yes, it's shooting, that is, the cause, but there's a slightly different motive for each victim, right? We have the oracle cards over here related to Carnell. It says organized crime or gang or lawyer. I suppose it could be some kind of gang affiliation situation going on. This is the first time I would get a card that would tip the scales. Everything else has been saying this has been personal. I'm getting a sense from a broader perspective. This is speaking about Carnell always being a support and an advocate for Kate, and that caused a sense of failure for the perp. Not happy about that. Also, the perp could be heavily protected actually maybe by a gang of people or a clan of people or a pack. Also could already have a lawyer, speaking through a lawyer already, like probably soon after the crime happened. This person may have lawyered up. So that could be a clue there for, what's going on with the actual perp. This could just simply be that they looked at Carnell to Kate as an advocate, someone who, is giving her counsel, and this person maybe did not agree with the kind of relationship that Carnell and Kate had. So this just added fuel to the fire for the perp, is what I'm getting a sense of. Okay, so I'm going to pause here, take a picture of these cards, and we're going to move on to the next 3 questions that we have. All right. All right, so next question number 10 is, what is key evidence that could break the case? Key evidence that could break the case. We talked about that, an alibi being looked closely at. We have daughter of fire, page of fire, key evidence. Do this again. Key evidence that could break the case. One more time, Spirit. Key evidence that could break the case. Wanted to come out earlier. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. We have doctor, abuse, neglect, backyard for the oracle cards. We have page of wands or daughter of fire and 5 of fire, 5 of wands, conflict. Remember the aiding and abetting card that we got earlier, and it showed a man and a woman? Yeah, I'm wondering. If there's someone who is alive today. We have the alive card, a female perhaps, or someone with page of fire energy, having some information, knowing some information about the crime, about the perp's involvement. This person, this woman energy, has been abused perhaps by the perp. Maybe it's a subsequent girlfriend or friend or relative to the perp. Also, I get a sense there's some sort of medical records that's documented, or some sort of documentation that affirms physical abuse that may have been levied against, say, Kate, for example, allegedly, or it could be this person that I feel like has key information about this tempestuous perp, and also being subjected to the wrath of this perp. There's key information here, right? And it's so interesting, the backyard. When you hear the saying, right in your own backyard. So this is like, again, just going back to a particular person they've already interviewed, but looking at the net again of the persons. Who are they interacting with today? Who is their significant partner of today. That person could hold critical information. Okay. And may become more and more conflicted about what they know or what they witnessed, or it's not sitting easy, with this particular person, that the perp has caused this witness or witness after the fact pain and sorrow and injury, wondering if the same could have been said about Kate, and the level of violence that could be levied against Kate could also be levied against this person that's in the know. I suppose it could be male or female, but that's what I'm picking up on. Go back to the drawing board, law enforcement. There's also medical records. That's going to require, subpoenas and warrants and all sorts of things, but you got to first look at the net around one of the people they've already interviewed. Checking out that alibi again. I just feel like a higher governing agency over the investigating agency has the means and ability to and technology or understanding of its technology to poke holes or something into the alibi. All right, let's move on to the next question. So what does law enforcement know? And then we'll ask, what do they still need to learn? They have a working knowledge of key players. We have breakup or divorce. This is what they know. Okay. Law enforcement has a working knowledge of a breakdown in a relationship. I say that because we have one person wanting to work at it with the 3 of Earth, wanting to keep going with it, and another person wanting it to start over, new beginning, perhaps without on their own. Ace is solo on your own, and this is dealing with a breakup or divorce. So law enforcement has some key background information, either about one of the victims, I'm sensing around Kate, but I could be wrong, and or the perp. Okay, the main perp. Okay, we have here needs medical attention. We talked about that with this question, like there's evidence of the level of violence and destructive behavior that this perp has inflicted on, not just the victims here, but on other people. So law enforcement being aware of that, being aware of there being some issues surrounding a breakup or divorce. We have here someone feeling trapped, or there's been in the past allegations of someone feeling actually like either emotionally trapped or really physically even trapped in a situation. They're aware of someone who has arson tendencies or destructive tendencies, or someone who may have destroyed evidence, and there's not much that can be done because the evidence is destroyed. So they are aware of some key evidence to the crime that has already been spoiled, compromised, or destroyed. So it could be something along those lines. And we have accomplice. They're aware that either someone helping during or after the commission of this crime is involved. They just can't, they don't have necessarily the physical evidence to bridge it all together at this point. But they have a sense that this is personal. Okay. Now blackmail or extortion. It's interesting. accomplice may be feeling the pressure to keep quiet, but also now, hopefully with this Unsolved Mysteries spotlight on the case, they start to feel, that mental jail card comes to mind. They start to feel really bad about the information that they know. They may, this person may even know about what was destroyed as well, corroborating evidence down the line. But law enforcement knows that this is a process. This is a case that can be settled overnight. We're talking about, several years more with these pentacles here in the, slowest moving energy here with these cards. It's going to take a while. Law enforcement knows because key evidence was destroyed. That's what I'm picking up on there. What else do they need? What else? Let's see. How do I word that? What does law enforcement still need to learn? What do they still need to learn about this case? Ace of Fire. Pull a couple of cards here. What else does law enforcement need to learn? Parent. I don't know. Not getting strong hits on these two cards, but within 1 week's time, something was going on with the perp. And I'm sensing with Kate, 1 week's time, something happened. We talked a little bit about it in part 3, the tarot and oracle reading. When I saw the burglary and robbery gone bad card, I feel like something happened in the week preceding the crime. That's what I'm picking up on during the season of spring. Something that may have been chalked up as an accident, but wasn't. I don't know, and I'm not quite sure of what the parent card is. Maybe one of the parents is aware, but didn't tie these two instances together, or maybe they did, and this is what law enforcement really needs to hone in on. Like, one of the parents of the victims had some information, had some key information about the week before, or I suppose this could be the week after the crime, but Ace of Fire represents 1 week for me, pertaining to something going on with a female, and I'm assuming it would be the female victim, Kate. So this is what law enforcement needs to explore a bit more. Could be something also about the firearm itself with the Ace of Fire. Not quite sure. Let me know what you all think. I mean, I got the parent card. Is that it's not, a parent is involved. Maybe it could mean that what the perp is a father or a mother now. I feel like it's a male, but a father now. But I also think that it could just be that one of the parents of the victims had key information that helps law enforcement be able to go back to something, to put the pieces all together. I don't know. All right. I'll be back. All right. So let's ask this question. Question number 12. Will justice be served in this double homicide involving Carnell Sledge and Katherine Brown? We have the 10 of Pentacles, which is a yes card. It will take some time, but some of the family members will see justice. Okay. The Sun. Those are positive cards. I think it is great that Unsolved Mysteries picked up this case and shone a light on it, because I think it can reignite the interest in the case. It start to put pressure on law enforcement, and also put pressure on the people who are in the know about the crime, because there is more than just one person in the know about the crime and about who's involved. So that's encouraging to see the Sun card. It is a yes card, as is the Ten of Pentacles. However, I will say this. The Ten of Pentacles represents the timing of 10 years. It could be 10 more years from today. It could be a total of 10 years from the time of the crime until when the justice is resolved. It could be that the litigation process takes a really long time. But yes, justice will come, but it will move slowly. Okay? But it will come. These are very positive cards to that. Something of significance happening like at the end of autumn that may help give the family a sense that, yeah, there could be a glimmer of hope with this Ten of Pentacles. What's coming up next for the investigation? The Fool. Somebody has to take over and start over, looking at this case with new eyes. A higher agency I keep picking up on. Now that there's new life in the investigation, that's what I'm sensing, is that there needs to be... Oh, hold on. I want to ask this. What's next for the investigation? Let's use this one. We got the Lovers. Timeline. Intoxication, but I want to be clear. I think also what was also interfering or causing law enforcement to really just not be able to move forward is there's some sort of advocacy for the perp. It could be a lawyer, or they're afraid, like law enforcement has a fear of, like, this is a protected person or protected group or protected something about the perp and who they are, where they're from, or who represents them. There's something about that. So that may be coming to light as well. Try this deck. Hold on. What's coming up? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I do get a sense that there's something of a new rebirth in having to really start over, re-interview, re-canvas, like start over in the investigation, and that someone is feeling a sense of wanting to do this, wanting to take this on. And that's exciting to see. This is the Fool card. Okay, the Fool card does represent a new beginning, a new starting over, taking a risk, and maybe someone in the, the agency that's going to be starting a new look at this with fresh eyes, is taking a risk on their career, because this is not going to be necessarily an easy case to crack, because there was destruction of evidence and, witnesses leaving, or maybe even leaving the country at some point. So that's what's to come in the investigation. The devil. I get a sense that there could be some sort of civil suit that comes down the line against someone where there may be enough circumstantial evidence to piece them together, but because they may have an alibi, or because they may have something that stops the prosecution or stops law enforcement from pursuing further, there could be maybe the family allegedly choosing to file litigation. Also finding out some in the coming, months ahead, as maybe web sleuths were looking at this case and finding out more devilish activities related to someone who is close to the perp or is in fact even the perp themselves. So there's more insight coming into just how deep this runs. Also, a lot of ego is tied to this case. Now that Unsolved Mysteries has looked at it, there's a lot of ego that's associated with it, with law enforcement not wanting to look like they don't know what they're doing. And yeah, so there's that coming forth with the investigation. Father of Water, King of Cups. I feel like this could represent an investigator who cares, who's passionate about solving the case, taking over. It represents the season of late summer. It could even be, that in the coming days ahead, because cups or water represents the timing of days, that someone who really can tell the family is struggling after watching the Unsolved Mysteries episode wants to do something, wants to crack the case, wants to appeal to the powers that be to have some, a higher agency look at this, to partner and to help crack the case. Someone being passionate to bringing it to some sort of conclusion. And perhaps, I don't know if the families have attorney representation. If not, they may want to go ahead and consider doing that and getting that to help them navigate the legal, process going forward in the future. That could be also what this Father of Water card is saying. It's saying multiple things. We have your lovers, more information coming out about the lover's angle, the past relationships angle. Right now, there's a lot of energy around this being random or the painter but I feel like more insights, at least within law enforcement's purview. They're going to have something more to chew on as it relates to this angle. Going back over the timeline again, having some sense of technology that can really help them with this process. Looking at overlapping the timelines of each of the victims, or a key victim, maybe Kate, and the perp, and noticing patterns up to a week prior to the crime itself. Remember, I talked about that with Ace of Fire. 1 week prior, there's something about the timeline even before the crime that's related to a lover or a past lover or a past partner that was dating the victim. You have distraction or diversion. I'm not quite sure what that could mean yet, but that doesn't mean that it won't have meaning or won't have meaning later. Again, we have here fraud and fire. Maybe this is someone who is presenting themselves one way but is not really that way, the perp. Or it could be law enforcement saying, they're doing all that they can. They have a lot of evidence preserved, or maybe they don't, or maybe, but at the end of the day, what ended up happening, and sometimes, it is law enforcement's fault, and sometimes it's just not. Sometimes it just is what it is. I think it's a bit of both in this case. Unfortunate circumstances, witnesses going away, limitations on surveillance camera, technology back then. But also there was some mismanagement and mishandling of protecting the scene is what I'm getting a sense of. And that coming to light later down the line. Okay. I'm going to pull some timing cards before we wrap up. Don't worry, I'll clean up these mess of cards in a moment for our picture. Key timing element, Spirit. January is of significance. That makes sense with the August is of significance. That one fell to the floor. I'll have to grab it. Tuesday. I forgot what day of the week this was on. I forgot. Grab these. I forgot what day of the week, but timing elements. Okay. All right, so let me show you what we've got. We got January, August, Tuesday. Then we got April, next month, in the near future. Now it's not the right timing. So I think this card is just saying it's going to take some time, even with there being some, you know, like there's going to be some more tips kind of pouring in now that there's interest in the case. And we can expect that between now and through autumn, going into winter, into January. Now, we've got 2 January cards here. The Fool represents January 21st to February 20th. The Devil represents December 20th through January 20th. So that being of time of significance as it relates to the investigation. But remember what I said about it's going to be years in the making of being able to put all the pieces together for movement to really happen in this case. It's really going to be dependent on a key person or persons coming forward and sharing some vital information, and without fearing, you know, having some retribution coming towards them with this blackmail or extortion card. Another thing that I mentioned is end of summer. The King of Cups over here represents like August to September time period. The Sun earlier that we got is July 21st to August 20th. So that's August. So August is of significance. It could be the preceding August prior to the crime that is of significance, as is January. So these months, and April, these months are of importance related to the victim and or the perp, but also in the near future, there could be some information coming out to the family or those closest who are involved to the case. Maybe not to the public. Maybe we hear something during these months. Okay, maybe not. Next month could be something coming on the line for tips coming in that seems viable next month. Next month could, you know, I'm not quite sure what else it could mean. I suppose, I don't know. My hope would be that the case would be solved next month, but I don't get a sense it's going to be that easy. It could be that law enforcement gets some, like a vital tip, or that we hear a little bit more news next month about this case now that it's been in Unsolved Mysteries. I really do hope that interest stays, you know, and that maybe there's other documentaries or other podcasts that pick up and talk about Carnell and Kate's case to keep it going, keep that momentum going, keep that pressure on the perp and on the people in the know surrounding this case. Okay, and then we have Tuesday. Could be Tuesday when something drops in the future, or it could be Tuesday preceding the crime. I forgot what day of the week. I would have to look at it. But Tuesday is of significance to look at. Could be the Tuesday before the crime. If it was on a Tuesday, okay, that could be a significant. Can't talk tonight. Significance. I've been tongue-tied today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. And I really do hope that all this attention that has been placed on this case leads to answers, leads to arrest, leads to convictions. We pray for that. We pray for the families, the friends, the community that, you know, is affected by this terrible, terrible tragedy. Like someone cold blood taking Carnell and Katherine's life. I am so sorry to those who have been affected by this. And I want to thank you all so much for watching this particular series. I have these videos in the playlist under the Unsolved Mysteries playlist I've created. So you can check out other videos in that playlist. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think these cards mean. Did you do a reading on this case? What came up for you? What do you know about the area? Or, you know, just, you know, if you live locally, what were some main themes or theories that people were talking about? I'd love to hear from you all. So do me a favor, on your way out, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me on this little journey. So that's it, friends. I think that's it for now. If we think of any other questions, you can also leave those in the comments section. And if we do a future reading on the case, we can include those questions at that time. All right. Bye for now.